Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another Bittensor brief. Today, we're going to be covering Targon Subnet 4 on Bittensor. So first, a disclaimer. My firm, Stillcore Capital, is an investor in Targon Subnet 4, and I personally hold Subnet 4 tokens as well. So Targon democratizes access to high-performance AI infrastructure in a secure way. So in general, if you want to get access to inference, for extremely low cost, that is what Targon does. Furthermore, Targon offers private compute. So if you would like your inference to be provided in a fully private manner, Targon can service you. So that means your prompts are completely encrypted end to end. Targon or Targon's miners cannot see what prompts you're sending up to the machines to get inference. And they have no idea what's going on inside the machine. It's a completely secure environment. So there's a big problem right now with inference online. Tremath recently posted that he actually went and looked at the terms of service for all the major inference providers. So, OpenAI, even Grok, even, Meta, et cetera. None of these guys, all of these guys say that your prompts that you send up for inference can be used, and in fact are used as training data to make their models better. So your private data, so things like, for example, medical records or financial data or proprietary models, are shipped to machines that these companies own, and that information is used to train their frontier models. So that's not good. Like if your proprietary information might show up in somebody else's response to their prompt, right? Because your prompt was used as training data. So if you are the sort of entity or person, there's a lot of us, right? We don't want our prompts to be used in this manner. It's a big problem. It's even a bigger problem in a decentralized compute environment, right? Because if you have something like Targon, where there are thousands of independent machines worldwide that are turning idle seconds into usable supply for inference, that same openness creates big risks. So sensitive workloads, as I said, like medical records, et cetera, are shipped to machines outside of the buyer's control. So a malicious host could extract that information from memory, capture disk snapshots, or misrepresent the hardware it's running. So you get this really great world of decentralized compute where you have cheap inference, but you have to give up security unless you use Targon, because Targon has solved this with the Targon virtual machine. And this is the importance of the TVM. So the Targon virtual machine, or TVM, was designed directly to solve this problems. It allows the user to run verifiably secure workloads on a globally distributed network of machines without relying on trust. So there's CPU side confidentiality. The workloads run inside confidential virtual machines where CPU memory is hardware encrypted, and hosts cannot read RAM, attach debuggers, or snapshot secrets. So you can rest assured as a user of this stuff that your secrets are safe. So Targon was the first to solve confidential computing for decentralized systems. Now, Targon is also the oldest subnet on Bittensor. Now, I know it's Subnet 4, but subnets 1 through 3 have all changed owners since launch, which leaves Subnet 4 now as the reigning oldest subnet. And besides the long-standing experience that gives Subnet 4 within the Bittensor ecosystem, all the co-founders are former OpenTensor Foundation executives. It also means that the Subnet 4 alpha token has the deepest liquidity and more emitted tokens, meaning less dilution for new holders moving forward, out of all of the subnets. So they have the deepest liquidity pool, which means there will be less emitted tokens than any other subnet. So anyone who buys Subnet 4 tokens today will suffer the least dilution in the future out of any subnets. Furthermore, a lot of subnets have not raised money, and there's nothing wrong with raising money or not raising money. However, Manifold Labs, the operator of Targon, has raised a 10.5 million Series A to provide runway to fund growth and expand their team. Now, some of their investors, like we've invested, as I've said, still core capital on the token side. We've not equity invested. We don't do that. But their equity investors include Ram Shriram, who is the first investor of Google, and Toby Lutke, who is the CEO and founder of Shopify. So they have some pretty blue chip investors. So as I said earlier, Targon offers inference for extremely, extremely low cost, private inference for extremely low cost. So how do they do this? Well, they incentivize their miners to provide compute at extremely low prices. And the way they do this is for each compute market, there's a specific emission allocation, which is up for grabs. So the Bittensor blockchain is emitting Subnet 4 tokens to the miners. For every tempo, there is a certain amount of Subnet 4 tokens, which are up for grabs. The miners who are participating in that round will place bids on what hourly price they're willing to get paid for that specific type of compute. And the lowest bids get filled first until the allocation is gone for that interval. So this incentivizes the compute providers to bid the prices down, right? So you're offering, basically, if you come in for that interval, you offer the lowest price. That price gets filled, you get paid, but you also get your subnet tokens, right? So this basically drives the price down for Targon and allows them to offer extremely low prices to their customers. So Targon is already serving up real customers and generating real revenue. Some of their existing customers include fellow subnets Ridges, Subnet 62, 404 Gen, Subnet 17, Affine, Subnet 120, BabbleBit, Subnet 59, Dippy, Subnet 11, Quasar, Subnet 24, and Brainplay, Subnet 117, just to name a few. And they've begun research projects powered by Targon Compute with several universities, including the University of Michigan and UC Irvine. Now, I did look online to see if I could quantify how much revenue they're making, because they haven't made any announcements about this, so I don't want to talk out of turn. I know some things, and some things are public, some things are not. From the public information that I was able to get my hands on, it looks like they're making between 5 and 10 million a year in revenue. So that's kind of where they're at right now. So the Targon serverless SDK allows developers to easily access the compute that Targon offers natively to their working environment using Python. So it scales, the SDK will scale up and down with your usage. So you only pay for the exact amount of compute that you need. So basically, using Python and this SDK, whatever it is you're doing can access the Targon compute programmatically, right? So pretty cool. So there are currently 4 different types of compute available on Targon. CPU servers, so for lightweight applications, hosting websites, running chatbots, validating other blockchain networks, etc. RTX 4090s, consumer GPU used for tasks such as running local LLMs, image generation, gaming, video editing, etc. Popular for home labs and small-scale inference. So an RTX 4090 is, in fact, what I'm using right now to vibe mine VidAIO, which is Subnet 85. So I'm using an RTX 4090, so I'm very familiar with this particular unit. H100s, so professional AI training and inference at scale, training LLMs, running production AI, large-scale simulations, and H200s, which are similar to H100s, but with significantly more memory, making them better for training, serving very large models, especially those with massive context windows or parameter counts that don't fit on H100s. And B200s, so next-gen GPUs, Blackwell architecture, designed for even larger models and more efficient training inference than the Hopper series, the H100s and H200s. The B200s are used for frontier AI research, training next-gen models, and ultra-high performance inference. So a little call to action now. We'd like to encourage viewers to explore Targon with $10 worth of free compute credits using the code STARTER10. And this is going to be in the show notes below. And I've included a link to Targon.com in the video description. So that's how you find Targon. And that's it. I'm personally a fan of Targon, obviously as an investor and token holder privately. I think what they're doing is amazing. I think they're one of the better subnets, obviously, in all of Bittensor. And I think their future is bright. So I encourage you to use their product. Their product is excellent. That's it. My name is Mark Jeffrey. This has been another Bittensor Brief. We'll see you all next time.